Raphael submitted a bid, yes, he submitted his bid. Matt just simply made a motion to increase.
Right, and the bids were open at the landscape meeting, which Raphael attended.
Yeah, a board member can make a motion. It doesn't mean the motion's going to carry, but they can certainly make a motion.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Can you keep him out of my backyard?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I did what Christine said, put up reflectors. My wife put up signs in English and Spanish. I still want them with the gates open. So, for his employees' negligence, are you guys liable if my dog gets out and bites somebody, or if a child goes in there and drowns in my pool? Because I've done what I was told to do, keep them out of my backyard. So, are you guys liable? Are you going to take the responsibility for that?
Well, the answer to that would most probably be yes. I hate to say that, because if he was not notified, I don't know the details of the situation. He would be liable, you know, obviously as a vendor, but then it would also be the HOA as well if you didn't notify him properly. I don't know the situation. Was he notified not to enter the gentleman's backyard?
She said you put up the reflectors, the red reflectors that keeps them out. That's what we did. Didn't keep them out. Put up signs in English and Spanish on both gates. Didn't keep them out.
Yeah. The red reflectors are for not cutting, detailing, but you know, the plant material. As far as the turf, that has to be documented. You need to tell him he can't go in the backyard. If that's your choice and you don't want a vendor in your yard, but that's fine. And the only thing, you simply have to maintain it.
I mean, it's the simplest thing in the world to close a gate. You think after the last meeting, you'd be honest group is people talk for a half hour about closing the gate. I think you'd be honest people about that, but a week later, it has.
So wait a minute, now you have to make, so you now have to maintain your yard because he can't close the gate and still pay him?
Let's talk with them.
Okay. Christine will make sure he's notified.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anybody else?
Can I just, real fast, I got a couple of things to hit on, and I've already beat a dead horse, and we've done it with the committee, we've done it with everything. The wife couldn't be here, but I asked her about the demand star and text messaging, and she said that anybody can get demand star, so I'm not in that arena or field, I know you guys were talking about it earlier, but she says that is available to the community. As far as a lot of the stuff with RG, I know we're already beating a dead horse with it. We're not talking about anything else about putting in work orders. I'm just talking about simply the way he cuts my grass. And the areas that he cuts my grass, he kills it because the blades are too low, or his guys cut too close to the house, and they weed whack it too low, which separates the grass farther and farther back. And I got transgressed pictures of beautiful gardens, white was planted all around the house, and then he's killed. So I'm not even talking about anything else that he's done except just the work performance that this guy's done around my house. And when you go up to Raphael and you talk to him, or you start putting pressure on him, he does his normal. Either he wants to talk about something else, he walks away from you, or he plays the game that he doesn't speak good English and he wants to only try to talk to you in Spanish. You know, Matt, you keep hitting on his contracts. We gave him too much, we gave him too much, we gave him too much. You're a real estate agent. You take only the contracts that you know that you can fulfill and that you can do. No one forced him to take the fertilization, no one forced him to take the sprinkler, no one forced him to take the grass bid. He bid on all three of those with the understanding that he was able to fulfill those. And as time came on, after he bid on them himself, but no one put a gun to his head, it was found out that he was not licensed and he wasn't able to properly fulfill those contracts. That's the reason why those contracts were ripped from him. The vote surveys that you keep hitting on, did you go through each one of those surveys, Matt? You did go through each one of those. So ballpark number 130 surveys. Out of 130 surveys, how many of them had even one negative inside of them?
I don't remember exactly, but
None?
A handful, none.
there were some that had some negative thoughts in there, but they still said they would prefer to keep them. But listen, like you said, where I've changed my position, and if I change my position, more than likely that the other company's going to get the bid. Like I said, I just was thinking I could actually make a difference by working with the guy and actually having somebody that's here in the community. I could say, listen, this is where, and give them a punch list. But hopefully the big company comes in and does their job great. We're not here again.
The only thing I want to, the last thing I want to finish up with is you keep sitting this and saying 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. At the end of the day, and no disrespect to my landscape committee, because I think they all did a phenomenal job busting their asses. At the end of the day, what do you really care? It doesn't even come back on you. It comes back on those people that got to come back there and decide. All your motion is yes or no and go off what the committee says. At the end of the day,
it's not just that easy. It's also security. if there's security issues, there's all kinds of.
Now, we gotta fix the tailgating issues before we even worry about that.
Okay, is there anybody else that would like to speak before we close down?
Yeah, too.
I'm Margaret Jetty, and we just built our home here 2.5 years ago, so I'm fairly new. And I've been to quite a few council meetings, and I was really disappointed with tonight's meeting. I think you all do a great job, and you must work very hard, and it is a thankless job. But you two went on your friendship. You gave a reason for wanting Raphael to stay because it's her fault, the lack of communication. You didn't give any reason. You never said what you felt or anything. And sir, I'm sorry, but everything that goes on, you're not even aware of everything. By the questions you ask, I know that you don't understand half the things that are going on. Last month, you voted with Wanda. You did. You voted with her to have him removed because the committee said so. This time, evidently, they talked to you, because this time you voted with them.
It was tabled, the issue was tabled.
You voted first with Wanda, and then it was tabled.
You voted to send it back to committee, that's
That's
right.
right.
Back to the committee.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Back
Why didn't you send it back to the committee if you're not gonna listen to them?
to have a fair hearing.
So they came back again and said that they wanted him to be gone. By the way, I don't have any rights with Raphael at all. I'm not for him and I'm not against him. It doesn't have to do it. It's the way you're running the meeting. It's the way you're handling things.
Well, I listened to Raphael. Raphael showed me the
You
pictures.
listen to Raphael.
He showed me the pictures to defend himself.
What kind of pictures?
Like, the Duffy cut up some of the things and he showed me that it was on the ground and now the Duffy wants him to pick it up. Likewise, he showed so many things and out of compassion for the man and
This is
humanity.
a business, sir. This is a business. Compassion doesn't go into a business.
Well, I took him as a family member. He lives here and that's why. I have no personal gain whether he cuts the grass or somebody else that cuts the grass.
Yes.
Don, you have one more question. Don, we have one more question. Do we finish the meeting?
Sorry, no more, and then.
We're done.
Richard, you wanted to speak? I'm sorry. I've had a long day. I've been at work since 5. I'm getting delirious.
I've been on the finance committee and
Yes.
on the ad hoc committee, pretty much since its inception. And, when the association took over from the developer, this was a terrible financial time. And pretty much having seen the budgets, I know that the budget for landscaping hasn't really gone up and times it's gone down. So people have to take that into consideration.
It went
Finance is
down
coming to
substantially
play.
initially, and then we gradually did bring it back up.
Right, but it hasn't gone up to where it literally was when the developer was here.
Not from when the developer was here. It was down to just under, it was like 398,000 back in when we were really trying to conserve money, and we gradually brought it back up. It's like 525,000 roughly now. Now, when the builder was here, the first budget, and I have a copy of it at home because I bought pre-construction, the landscape budget was $650,000.
Right, so,
Yeah.
and what I'm trying to say is, money's been squeezed out of the contract. That isn't necessarily.
But I will say,
Wait a minute.
like I said, it has been brought up. Now, we bid it, there were 6 bids, and let me tell you, the median bids were all at the same, right around the same price. So that kind of tells you that's where the price should be for this size property.
Wait, point of order on that initial builder budget? That was for all the initial landscaping,
No, this was the HOA budget that they put together.
Right.
Maintenance,
Ri-
yeah.
Yeah, but that also included installing
No,
landscaping.
this was the annual budget he's talking about,
Okay.
not the new install budget. I know what
Okay.
you're saying. No, this was the annual maintenance. It was the initial
Okay.
setup.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll set up, I stand corrected, and I'm sorry.
Basically what I'm trying to say.
No, I understand what you're saying, yeah. I mean,
That
obviously,
bottom, the issue of any,
services can always be better depending on what you want to pay. You can have anything you want if you want to pay for it. I mean, that's how you have to look at it. If you want
that's what
better
I'm
service, you
saying
gotta pay for
is
it.
that people
Yeah.
have to recognize that
Yeah.
Part of it is the getting what you're paying for.
Right.
And,
True.
you know, it can always be better.
Yes.
Always be
I
better.
agree. And it could always be worse, so, you know, I mean, it goes both ways.
Can always be worse.
We strive to be better.
So it isn't always 100% fault of the landscape.
Dawn, what about in our area, I talked to Christine, we have fences that people ran from the back of their yard out to the.
That's an
fence.
issue that the architectural committee is going to be reviewing this month when Russ gets back into town. He's out of town, but that is on his plate already.
All right, if that's it, we're gonna,
Security committee,
yes.
how do you get on it? Or how do you
Give your name to Christine, she'll add